and I have started recording. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's class. My name is Birgit Koopsen, and I'm a brand ambassador for Gelli Arts. And today I'm going to be gel printing on feathers. Thank you, Michaels, for having us, and thank you all for joining us. I'm in the Netherlands, and I will be reading the comments later, and it's always fun to know where people are coming from. So if you want to put in the comments where you're from, then I can see who tuned in today. Okay, I think it's we can get started now. Okay, so today I'm going to be working with the 8x10 Gelli Arts gel printing plate, and there's no specific reason that I'm using this size. It's just that it's big enough to put the feathers on, and I could probably do it also on the 5x7 plate, but today I think it's more convenient to use the bigger one. And I've already took it out of my package, and it's on my table. I've put it on a sheet of paper that I secured with masking tape, so it's not moving around on my table. As you can see, my plate is not clean. I usually don't clean my plate in between printing sessions because I really like the look of paint that is picked up which was still on the plate from previous prints. And when you start with a clean plate, then the first couple of prints are going to be very clean. And I really like it if there's already a little bit of paint in there, so you have a more distressed and random look. So today we're going to print on feathers, and I have a couple of samples here that I already made. And so I've used, for my samples, I've used feathers that I bought. They are like really nice white feathers, but of course you can also just go outside and find yourself some feathers and print on these. The steps to do it might be a little bit different because these feathers are really dark, and you have to probably do another kind of base layer to get really nice colors. And on the white, of course, all the colors will show really, really bright. So to create feathers like these, I will, so first of all, you can wonder, why would you use your gel plate to create feathers, and why not paint straight onto the feathers? Well, I've tried doing that, painting on feathers with acrylic paint, but my experience is that most of the time I use too much paint, and you lose all the details of the feathers, and the really like little fluffy areas down here, they just all stick together because there's way too much paint. And when you use the gel plate, you can add really thin layers, and you will still see all the details of your feathers. So for those of you who don't really know what a gel plate is, this is a flexible plate. It's made from a unique kind of plastic, and there's mineral oil in it, and it's basically made to release products. So any product you put on the plate will be can easily be removed while it's still wet, or by using a second layer of paint to pull the product from the plate. And what you basically can do is mono printing without a press. So before I start adding all the details to the feathers, I'm going to give them a base color. And today I'm working with acrylic paint, and I'm using Winsor&Newton Galeria, and I'm using, let me see, Liquitex Basics, and I might be using some golden paint, but basically you can use any acrylic paint that you have on hand. But these are the paints that are also available at Michael's, and the links will be shared in the chat in a moment. So I have two options to do the base color of my feathers. First, I can choose to do a light color as my base, and then print texture on top with the darker colors, or I can start with darker colors and then print on top with the lighter colors, because you want some contrast. So for this color, I started, for this feather, I started with the green and the blue, and then I used the lighter colors to print on top. And the same with this one, I started with the magenta and the darker blue, and I printed on top with a yellow and a white. But you can also start with the lighter colors like a yellow and an orange, and then use blues and darker red and black to create texture on top of your feather. So it's very important when you start printing on feathers that you use a very thin layer, because you don't want to lose the details of the feather. You don't want everything, all the little areas here to stick together. So you need light, thin layers. So I'm going to start with some blues. This is my favorite blue, is Prussian Blue U. And I'm going to add a little bit to the plate, but I don't want only one color, because only one color is very boring, and also it will look very flat. It will not look as lively as when you just mix colors. So I'm going to roll out two different colors of blue. This one was the deep turquoise, and I'm going to roll it out with my brayer. Spread it out all over the plate, a thin layer. So the thin layer is important. So if I have too much paint on my plate, I rather roll it off on some scrap paper to make the layer a little bit thinner, rather than having too much paint on my feathers. So now I'm going to place a couple of feathers on the plate, and to get my first base coat of paint. And remember, you can always add another layer. So if for any reason you don't like the opacity of the color on the feather, or if there are any areas that the color didn't really got stuck to the feather, then you can always do another layer. With the feathers, you have to make sure that you go with your fingers around the, I don't know if I say that right, but I think it's the spine. I don't know if that's right with a feather, if the feather has a spine, but I'm sure you know what I mean. So now I remove the scrap paper, and my feathers will have some color. As you can see, I didn't push the paper well enough. On this one I did. This one is nice and totally covered, but these two are not completely covered. So I want a little bit more color on these, and I'm just going to add, and I don't even have to do the same color. I could do a different color. I can also try and pick up the paint that's still on the plate. Maybe if it's still wet, it's picking up. It did a little bit, as you can see. So, and these are the silhouettes of the three feathers that were on my plate, and I was able to pick up some of the paint that was left underneath the feather. And this is actually quite pretty. So I think I might add a little bit of green. I have green gold here from Golden. And this one is a little bit more fluid than the Galleria one, the Winsor&Newton one that I used before. So probably it will be easier to get that in the open areas on the feather, or the uncovered areas on the feathers. So I'm just going to put them down again, like this, and use some scrap paper again. And now I'm going to make sure that I go really into these areas next to the thicker area of the feather. And let's see how that looks. It's already a bit better, but still there are some open areas, but I kind of start to like what I see. And I'm also going to do a couple of feathers with a lighter base coat. So maybe something in yellow. So this is the pale lemon. And as you can see, I don't clean off the paint that's still on my plate, and it will probably pick up in my next print. So on my next feathers, you might see a little bit of darker blue showing up in my yellow base color, but that's what makes it interesting. So that's why I leave that on. So again, I'm going to add a couple of feathers. And then place the paper on top so I can rub in the feather into the paint. There we go, a nice yellow feather. And as you can see, especially on this one, is the little bits of blue. I mean, I hope you can see it, but there is some blue on there, which makes the feather already way more interesting than when it would have been only yellow. And let's do some pink. So I'm using permanent rose, and I'm going to add a little bit of titanium white. And maybe you're interested in the clips. So the clips are just from IKEA to close like bags. And I put them on my tube, so the paint stays down here when the tube is not completely full anymore. And I think that's really convenient. So I'm going to mix the rose and the white so I get a nice pink. And let's try my found feathers and see how they look with some paint on it. They will look differently than the white ones. So I'm also going to do a white one so you can see the difference. But because I used the titanium white, the color will be quite opaque, and therefore might actually, maybe one layer might be enough for the darker feathers. And if not, I can just put them back on the plate and add another layer of color. Are there any questions right now at this very moment?
No, I think there was just one. Somebody was asking how to keep, do we have any tips about keeping their brayer clean? And so we shared that you could use Murphy's oil soap, but then that's not available everywhere. So no. Do you have any tips? What do you do?
Yeah, well, first of all, when I'm working with my brayer, I always brayer it off every time I have added paint to my plate, I bray it off on my scrap paper so it doesn't build up too fast. And that's not only because then I don't get a thick layer of paint on my brayer, but it's also to make sure that when I add a new color, that the wet color on my brayer is not mixing with the new color that I'm putting on my plate. So that's what I do to keep it clean while I'm working. And then Murphy's oil is a tip that I heard many times from people in the US. So that's really a good option. But like here in, at least in the Netherlands, but I think not at all in Europe, we don't have Murphy's oil, and we have something in the Netherlands that's called Biotex, and that's washing detergent, a powder with enzymes. And what I do is I just take this out of my handle, and then I put it in a bucket with water and some of the Biotex and leave it in there overnight. And then the next day, the brayer looks as if it's new. I can just wash off all the paint. So that's how I keep my brayers clean.
Okay, that's perfect. Thanks.
You're welcome. So as you can see, this one looks very different than this one because this has the dark color of the feather, and this has a really light, because of the white, the color that you put on there is the actual color, and here it's not. But I'm just going to do another layer of the permanent rose, and again also a little bit of the titanium white. So the permanent rose is not an opaque color, and you can see it if you have more professional paints like the Winsor&Newton, but also the golden and the Liquitex, for instance. You can see on the packaging whether or not a color is opaque or translucent or semi-translucent. So there is a little square on the tube. And now I have two of the same. Let's find a different color. Let me see. Yeah, this one, and I need, yeah, so here we go. So this one is a little square that is open, which means that this color is translucent or transparent. And then this little square is half full, and that means that this color is semi-translucent. And then this color, the little square, is completely filled, which means that the color is opaque. And with the golden, there is a little thing on the back also saying how opaque the color is. And you can also see here how opaque the color is. So if there would be black lines and you put the color on top, this is what you will still see of the black lines. So this one is quite opaque. This one is very translucent, and you can see it here also. There's the little white square, and you can see it here that there's still, you still see a lot of the black lines underneath the paint. So that's how you know. Personally, I don't really look at whether or not a color is opaque or translucent. I just take a color that I like. But if for any reason I want a color to be opaque, then I usually add a little bit of the titanium white to make it more opaque if it's like a really translucent color. So again, I'm going to roll out the paint and roll off my brayer to make it clean again. As you can see, there's no pink on my brayer at all anymore. And I'm going to replace the feathers, and I'm also going to replace this one, as I would like it to be a little bit more covered with paint. And let me find a sheet of scrap paper So usually my scrap paper, my cleanup paper, I use it several times. And when they are dry, I just put them on a pile and I will just use them again. And then a lot of times they also end up to be quite pretty paper with a lot of color and texture on it, which can be used as collage material, for instance. So I will probably add a couple more layers on this one. And then this could be paper that I die cut shapes from, or I could stamp on it and then cut out the stamped image, and there will be color and texture underneath the stamp. So I don't throw away a lot of paper, not even my cleanup paper. Okay, let's see how these look now. So this color is already way more intense than it was before. And this is also more covered. Like the black is already more covered than it was before. And on this one, I can now even see, because I left it on a little bit longer, it also picked up, and the paint already dried a little bit, it also picked up some of the yellow of these feathers that was still on the plate. And I'm not sure if you can see it on the screen, but it looks as if there is some gold on the feather, and it looks actually really cool. So now I have a couple of color feathers with a base color, and I want to add some texture. So there's a little bit too much paint left there, more than I want there right now for making the texture. So I want to remove the paint from the plate, at least here in the middle. And there are different ways that I can do it. But first of all, I could take a baby wipe or a wet cloth and just clean my plate. If it would still be wet, the paint, then I could just pick it up with a sheet of paper, which will now not work, or at least not all of it, because the paint is already dry. So it's not picking up from the plate. I could also just add a new layer of paint on top, a very thin layer, and roll it out. And then I can just use some scrap paper to pick up that dried paint from the plate, at least enough for now to go to the next step. So as you can see, most of the paint is picking up from the plate. And I also end up with, again, some really nice scrap paper that I can use as collage material or add even more layers to. Okay, how to create texture. To create texture, today I'm using some tools that I have been using in 2 of my previous Zoom classes for Michaels. One of them was the texture blocks that I made in one of the Zoom classes, which should be available. The class should be available on the Michaels website and also on the Gelli Arts YouTube channel. So I made a couple of texture blocks, and if you want to know how to make these, then you can find that in the other recorded Zoom class. And I'm also going to use some found objects, which I also did a class about with stuff like a punchinella, bubble wrap, pill strips, cardboard, lids from milk cans, more cardboard, and even a cookie tray. So that's what I'm going to use as tools to create texture. And also I'm going to use my Gelli Arts Mini printing tools. So these are really fun. There are 3 different ones, and you can just use them with the paint and create lines thick lines and thinner lines and then print with that. So these are sold with 3. And what I did, so it comes in like a blister packaging. And what I did, I carefully removed the blister that was on top of the cardboard. And then I cut off, just with my scissors, I cut off the top, and then I replaced the blister on the card with some adhesive, and I also put some, for extra strength, I added some clear tape. And now I have this hook on my card, and I can just hang this on the side of my table, and I can take out my my tools whenever I want. So let's use those 2. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to print on the darker blue feather. And I'm going to use some white, and I might also use some rose pink. And again, I'm using my brayer to just roll out the paint. And now I'm going to use one of my tools. Let's see, I'm going to use this side. And I can just basically scrape away some of the paint, as you can see. And you can create different textures with different sides of the tools. Of course, you can also make a texture like this. And now I'm just going to put my feather on top, and let's also do this one. And again, I'm using some scrap paper. Sorry. So for this step, it is quite important actually that the paint you're using is opaque, because otherwise it will not show up on the darker paint that is already on the feather. So let's see. Ooh, that looks really nice. And it also really stands out on the darker background. So that's fun. And let's also use some of the punchinella, which can be used basically as a stencil. So I'm going to use, let me see, I'm going to use the deep turquoise again. And let's do another color. Let's also do the green is not really opaque. So this one maybe. This is an opaque one. Okay.
So Birgit, we do have a few questions. Do you want to hear?
Okay. Okay, yeah, sure.
So one is about any tips about keeping the feathers from curling after you print on them.
Well, you know, they start curling, especially when you use too much paint. So you just have to make sure that you don't use too much paint. As you can see, this one is pretty okay, and this one too. This one is a bit curled. But yeah, if you put them under like some heavy books overnight, then they will be okay. And I would put them like this and then put the books on top, and not like this. So it kind of flattens out like this. But yeah, my feathers really don't curl that much. actually, and I think that's has everything to do with how much paint you're using.
Okay. And then the other question is, do you have any experience with glitter paint on the plate?
Yeah, well, I'm not a really big fan of glitter paint, and I know it can be used. I know Marcia has been using glitter paint on the plate, but there can be like thicker parts in glitter paint, and that can be a bit tricky with I think with rolling out the paint.
Mhm.
But I'm not really that experienced, to be honest, with glitter paint on the plate, just simply because I'm just not a big fan of glitter paint.
Mhm.
But I know there are people that use it, so it can be used. But I'm probably just not the right person to ask about the how and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Mhm.
Okay, so let's remove this paint, see if I can get it off, if it's still wet enough to get it off. Not really. So I'm again going to use a little bit of paint to pick up the paint, a thin layer of paint to pick up the paint from the plate. So the dried paint. So you cannot pull dry product from the plate. Whenever anything on the plate dries, whether it's acrylic paint or ink or any other product, that alcohol ink or any product that dries on the plate, you need this second layer of paint to pull, because you simply can't pull dry product. And when you do this, you really have to make sure that your layer of paint, the layer of paint that you use to pull the paint from the plate, has to be really, really thin, because if the layer of paint is too thick, you will only just pick up the top layer of wet paint, and it will not also pick up the dry paint. So here in these areas, I probably had a little bit too much paint, and that's why not everything got removed. But this is okay. I'm fine with whatever is left on the plate right now. So next thing I'm going to do is, let me see, I'm going to use this texture tool. So here I used crystals, like self-adhesive crystals, and this is actually Lego. And these are, how do you call them? Push pins?
Or thumbtacks, I think.
I'm sorry?
We call them thumbtacks.
Ah, okay. Okay, so I put them on this block so I can use the block to create texture. And you can not only print directly on the plate, but you can also use the plate as some kind of like a stamp pad. So you can roll out paint, a nice thin layer of paint, and then use your texture tool as a stamp instead of putting the actual feather on the plate. So that's what I'm going to do now. And I'm going to use a really nice, let me see, a bright yellow. I think I'm going to use this one. Oops, way too much paint. So as I said, too much paint is never good. And it's better to remove the paint from the plate than to go with it. So I'm just going to use a palette knife and put this aside so I can use that later. Let me see, let me put it right there. And I also am going to add a tiny little bit of white, because this paint, the yellow paint, is a semi-translucent, and I want a really nice opaque color. So I'm going to mix the yellow and the white. And now I'm going to put my feathers on on a sheet of paper. Let me see if it's still in the frame. Yes, it is. And now I'm going to use my texture block to pick up paint from the plate. And now I can just stamp straight onto the feather. And as you can see, it's a nice opaque color of yellow. And now I can also use that leftover paint on the plate. It's still wet, so I'm going to roll it out a little bit more. And I'm going to use this like tiny little mini bubble wrap and see if I can create some texture with it. And the paint that I'm picking up here, I can also put it back down in areas where there's no paint. And if I'm quick enough, I'm not sure, but if I'm quick enough, I can pick up the texture while it's still wet. And this way, I'm just going to continue adding layers to my feathers until I'm satisfied with what I have. And that's the nice thing about gel printing. You can just continue adding layers, as many layers as you like. So if you're not satisfied, you're just not done. You can always make it work. You just have to go on until you like what you see. So I like this color much better than they were before. They were quite light, and I like the brighter color. So let's add some really contrasting color to these, like magenta, or yes, let's do a magenta. And let me see what kind of texture. I'm going to use I think I might use the pill strips. They are really fun. So what happens when you use the pill strips is where you push them on the plate, the bottom will pick up the paint, and the little circles where the pills were will actually stay behind on the plate. So you're creating a texture that way. And it looks like I have a little bit too much paint because the pill strip is not picking up all of it. Thin layers are key if you want to make beautiful prints. It's good to be a little bit, I'm not sure if I have the right word here, but frugal. Is that really good word to say? That you should not use too much paint?
Yes, it's a perfect word.
Okay, great. So here you go. A fun little pattern created with some pill strips. There are really, if you look around, you can find gel printing tools basically everywhere. Anything that can create a texture on the plate is a potential tool for gel printing. It's as simple as that. And I don't know if there are any people, if there are people watching who have not done a lot of gel printing before, or maybe not at all, but once you start gel printing, you start seeing tools everywhere. You can't go to the supermarkets anymore like you did, the way you did before. You will see all kinds of packaging that can be used as a gel printing tool. Look at this. Look how beautiful. That's just simply a pill strip. I love it. So let's see, what else can we add to the feathers? Let's do another texture like, oh, how about some stars? So these are just little wooden stars. I don't know how you call them, but you can just buy them like in a whole box with stars. And I'm going to use them as a stamp. And I'm going to stamp with, how about some black for some nice contrast. So again, I'm just going to roll out the paint and use my plate as a stamp pad. And this color, I don't know, this is, looks like, okay, it's Americana multi-surface satin. Really good result with that. So I'm just going to clean it off with some paper and use a different paint. So here is Carbon Black from Deco Art, and I think that will be more the kind of paint that I'm looking for, more opaque. Okay, that looks better. And I'm just going to use that now as a stamp. Not as opaque as I hoped, but you get the idea, right? So I don't have it on hand right now, but while I'm doing this, I realized that I could actually have done it with a stamping ink, like for instance, an Archival or a stays on black. I could have used that to stamp on the feathers. I've done that before. And of course, you can also use like real stamps, like rubber stamps or clear stamps that are actually meant for stamping. You can use that too. You can also use them on the plate. It's just that I don't have any stamps or stencils that are available at Michael's because I'm obviously in Europe and we don't have Michael's here. So that's why I'm using my handmade tools for the demonstration. But if you have a look at the Michael's website, you will find all kinds of stencils and stamps that you can actually use to create these kinds of projects. Another thing that I like to do with my feathers, and not only with my feathers, but basically with all of my projects, is to finish them with some splattering. And for splattering, I like to use Posca markers. And I have a big box of Posca markers here. And they are also available at Michael's in all the different colors. And what I like to do is shake them first, because a Posca marker actually has acrylic paint in them and with pigments. So it's fluid with pigments. And to mix the pigments with the fluid, you have to shake them. And then you can start writing or drawing, but you can also take something heavy. Let me see if I have some big scissors here on hand, or a screwdriver. That will work too. And I'm just going to hit the Posca marker, and as you can see, the splatters come out. So I prefer doing this instead of using a brush and acrylic paint, because a lot of times when I use a brush with acrylic paint, I have like really big blobs of paint everywhere. And when I use the Posca marker, I have these like really fine detailed splatters. And of course I can use several colors on each feather, and choose contrasting colors with my background.
So Birgit, somebody just asked again, what you do with the papers that you've printed on, your side papers. So maybe you could just run through all the things you could do with those.
Yeah, of course. So I have a couple of papers here that I used for printing on feathers. And so this is actually a really nice print. It is an accidental print because I don't really look at the papers when I use them as a cleaner paper, because at the end something will come out of it anyway. But this is a really nice one that I really like, and I can imagine that I just would glue this in my art journal and add a sentiment and maybe do a little bit of stamping or drawing on it, and then it could be like an almost finished art journal page. But when you have papers like, let me see what I have here in my little pile, if there's anything. Maybe I have them on this side. So if I have any papers like this, so these will probably be used another printing session, and there will be even more details on there, and color and pattern. And I will use them for many different things. So this could be a background, a starting point for an art journal page, but I could also use, for instance, a black ink, or even stamp with embossing powder an image on top of it, and then cut it out, and then my stamped image will have texture and color. Or I can run it through my die cutting machine and create some fun shapes that I can use. I will just get up and get it, but I have here so this are die cuts from that could have been, so I think these I made especially for this, but this is what I also do with my cleanup paper. And if you have just little parts of your cleanup paper with some texture and some color on it, and you die cut it, then suddenly it becomes a really nice little object, and you can make like how do you call this? I don't know how you call it, but you can make this from it. And of course you can use those little shapes in your art journal, or on cards, or on tags, or whatever you are making. So your cleanup paper definitely is not something that you should throw away, because you can always give it a second life. It can also be collage material. I can just like tear it like this, and when I'm working in my art journal and I need a little piece of dark paper somewhere, I can just tear it out of my collage material and just glue it into my art journal, because I need that little piece of contrast or whatever. Or I can even build up a whole page with little pieces of collage paper, and then also use it in my art journal. So there are many things that you can do with your, it can also, you can use, if you use, for instance, the same size of paper, like this size, for instance. This is an A5. I'm not really sure. I think it's 10 by 15 centimeters. So that would be 4 by 6. Am I right? No, it's bigger. But anyway, if you use cleanup paper the same size, a lot of papers the same size, and you use them only on one side to clean up, and you make sure you fill the whole paper, you could just fold the paper and then glue them together back to back, and you would have a little art journal already filled with colorful backgrounds and ready to work on top. So that's basically the things that I would do with my cleanup papers. And the feathers are mostly just as a decoration. It's really nice to put them under a piece of ribbon when you wrap a present for somebody, or you could use a staple or maybe 2 staples to staple it onto a card if you make a nice card for somebody. Or you could even, if you put it on a background, let me see if I have one here. I don't have the right background, but for instance, if you would put it on a background and you would use a thread and a needle, and you could just sew it with like 3 little pieces of thread, you could just sew it onto card and make a bookmark out of it, or you could make a nice card for somebody, or even sew it into your art journal and use it in your art journal. Or you could make little holes here and put a ring through, and then you can just hang them in front of your window. There's so many things that you can do with them. Yeah, so I think that's basically showing how you can build up these layers on your feathers and create something fun with them. So are there any other questions right now?
No, I don't see any other questions.
No other questions.
Yeah.
Okay. We have not filled like the whole hour, but I think I kind of showed all the steps that I wanted to show today. So I guess this is a short lesson then today.
No, it's already 1:53.
Oh,
So
really?
it's almost 2 o'clock. So I think you just
Okay.
had us all mesmerized watching, because they're so beautiful.
Well,
They're really
thank you.
beautiful. Mhm.
Well, then I hope everybody enjoyed this class, and I hope to see you back soon. There will be more lives coming up soon. Like I will have another Zoom class on August 3, which is quite soon already, and I will be working with alcohol inks on the gel plate in that Zoom class. And then on August 17, Marcia Falk will do a Zoom class for Gelli Arts, and that will be about printing with words, if I'm right. And then tomorrow there's a Facebook Live on the Gelli Arts Facebook page, also by me, and I will talk about repeat pattern tomorrow. So I hope to see you in one of the upcoming classes or events. And for now, thank you for watching, and see you again next time. Bye-bye.